it perfectly hits 1, just because then maybe we can get through some of the testing a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. I can hear us both, so it's real.
It's real. Holy shit.
Holy shit. Sweet. Okay, limited time. The thumbnail is going to be wrong. I forgot to make the thumbnail for today. So that'll get fixed later. Don't worry about it. I'll make sure it's fixed eventually.
It happens.
It's true. Wonderful. And this will probably be the penultimate stream because we're almost to the end of published chapters of 22 Seconds Later. So, fun shit.
Fun shit. Fun shit.
Chanting. Awesome. I kind of feel like we should just dive into it.
Yeah.
It looks like there's a lot of. It looks like you should take narrator first with this chapter.
Okie dokie. Oh my god. 1 second. My one phone keeps being a bitch.
Eats how do.
Alright, let me set this aside. It keeps closing out on fucking I know words. I'm in the right chapter, right?
Should be 12.3.
Yep. Alright, ready when you are, Captain.
Radical. So, Eridan.
You ask warily, not sure if you're allowed to broach the subject or not. Karkat closes his eyes again and sighs. His head shifts on your thigh a little as he turns his head to the door ever so slightly and looks to see if it's still shut. It is, of course.
I like him. I get why we were friends. He's nice when he wants to be, and I know he likes me. I know that he was my only friend up there, but if he was nicer to you, then we could have all been friends down here too. I can see that I tried to help him be better, and I know he did a lot to help me. I know he's pale for me.
Karkat says unhappily. You want to prompt him with
But,
propped? That's not a word. Sorry. You want to prompt him with
but,
oh so eager to hear about why he doesn't like Eridan like that. You're not nearly stupid enough to think that this doesn't mean anything for you, that your internal glee doesn't reflect your own interests. It's also painfully obvious why you and Eridan don't like each other, aside from his awful personality and long list of flaws, of course. You can both see your mutual thing for Karkat, even if you're only just beginning to admit it to yourself. There's no way that you can ask without coming off as entirely self-interested as you are. Karkat continues talking anyway.
I just don't think he sees me, or he sees what he wants. Not out of. He's not evil or cruel or. It's too much like Cronus and Cancri, trying to anticipate what he wants you to want instead of being there for what you actually want and need.
You guess. Karkat's eyes click open again, and he looks sharply at you. He's silent for a second, and then,
That's. That's a really good way of putting words to something I've been trying to pin down for ages. You managed to just.
to anticipate what he was thinking before he did, to help him, to see him for who he is without projecting onto him. Oh no.
We shouldn't be doing this, should we?
You say in a slightly strangled voice.
Nope.
Karkat laughs a little hysterically. Why did you think this was a good idea? Yes, you understand pale romance more, but now you have feelings, and this is suddenly way more intimate than you meant it to be. Like, how would you even complain about this to someone? Oh no, I read porn to my crush and things got really weird for some reason.
I am a fucking idiot. I think I'm the dumbest person in my family, and I'm including Solix in that.
You groan and hit yourself in the head with the stupid book.
Well, hey, you don't need to be that hard on yourself.
Karkat says softly, unable to resist a chance to get a dig in at Celix, even if he's not here.
The human feelings that I wanted to understand turn out to be these.
You say, and smack the book with your hand.
Specifically, the pale ones, I mean, not the others. But wait, hold on.
Karkat rolls over and tries to push himself up, but he's clearly very dizzy still. You reach out and steady him as he moves to sit up properly and help him lean against the bed. He looks a little unwell for a moment there, but recovers after a few seconds. You're all fine.
You're human, though. You said that they don't mean the same things for you.
Karkat points out.
What about Dave and Solix?
You counter. Karkat makes an uncertain noise and then proceeds to not explain that at all. And it's infuriating.
You also said that you're gay, and it's not and can't be romantic for you.
Karkat says instead.
I did say that. I am. I'm also having an I'm also having a crisis about that because despite that being the case, it's also somehow not the case, apparently. I think. It's pretty clear that a lot of what I feel it's pretty clear that a lot of what I feel is mirrored in what we just read, and I don't know what to do about that, aside from perhaps scream forever.
You tell him.
Do you want to. Uh...
Karkat cuts himself off with both hands over his face, smothering a frustrated noise.
Were you just about to ask me if I wanted to talk about it?
You ask him weakly.
Yes, I was. I didn't even think about it, and I keep doing this. This whole thing was way too pale, and I wasn't supposed to be doing that.
Karkat starts.
Because I told you I wasn't interested.
You finish.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm supposed to stay away from this.
He says.
Yeah, I think I'm pale for you, and I think I'm going to set myself on fire about it.
You say in utter despair.
Don't do that.
Karkat tells you, a worried look gracing his face.
Oh, are you going to talk me out of my worst impulses, are you?
You challenge him.
Well, I can also steal fire, so I could stop you, since that seems to be a choice that you'd probably regret, as you're not fireproof. So.
Karkat trails off and then leaves you both staring at each other in silence. You don't know what to do now. Oh, you certainly have ideas. Thanks to that book, you have a plethora of ideas and things that you want to look into. But that's not really helpful right now. Although you really, really want to touch his wings. That's not what you ought to be doing right now. The version of you in the video said to speed run your sexuality crisis. But there's only so much that you can do that.
I do have feelings for you. They're obviously pale, but this is huge, and I don't know what to do or think about it. But I also know that's It's part of why Aridin gets to me so much, which isn't fair because even if this was a thing, then I wouldn't have any right to control who you talk to and who your friends are, even if you have horrible enough taste to like Aridin.
You admit.
That took a turn at the end.
Karkat snorts.
Damn it. I've been trying really hard not to be a bitch about him.
You grumble.
It's Aridin. Everyone gets to be a little bit of a bitch to him sometimes.
Karkat teases, and you hate how that does actually make you laugh.
This is so weird. I'm gay, and yet. Maybe it is different for different quadrants, or perhaps because you're not from here, it doesn't mean that you're really male and gender isn't a thing?
You say unhappily.
Is that what makes Georgia so different?
Karkat asks with innocence that you don't buy one bit. There's no gender in Georgia. Can't have shit in Georgia.
Can't have shit in Georgia?
Oh, yeah. Day one in Georgia, they steal your fucking gender.
Yep. They're like the Fae for just gender.
Just gender. May I have your pronouns, please? Yeah, sure, here they are. You fool.
You fool.
You absolute swine.
The G in Georgia is for gender. You don't have it anymore.
The G in Georgia stands for gender. Please.
Please?
I really hope that I will get back to reading in just a second. I'm sorry, but I really hope that Unda gets a kick out of our goddamn side, like what is it, sidebars?
Yeah. I think they do like them. That's like oftentimes like when they read DBDC to listen to it. I mean, that's like the main thing that they'll comment on is like, that was a good laugh.
Yeah. Listen, I still sometimes think about the Hope Pope.
Hope Pope.
The Hope Pope.
Hope Pope. Woo.
Shoot, where were we at?
I think it's actually me. I think you got through your line, so it's. Shut up! I'm trying to have a crisis here.
You say, and thump him on the shoulder with your fist. Not too hard, though, because you don't want to make him feel worse.
I don't want to give you a crisis, but I am very pale for you. I'm not entirely sure how I'd actually be as a Moirail, since I have to be supervised basically all of the time and I'm not trusted. Oh, and I'm not the same person as before, so there's that too. I also don't like the whole control. Well, you know.
Karkat grumbles, and you do know because you just discussed your preferences via the medium of discussing pornography. Like normal people do, probably.
We could have a synchronized crisis, maybe trade notes on how it's going. We could do all of that and be honest about how we feel, and I can ask you questions about whether something is a normal pale feeling, and you can ask me questions about whether anything you're doing is normal.
You suggest.
Yeah. Let me know if I do anything normal. I'll write it down on my calendar.
Karkat says flatly.
I'm going to suggest not telling Aridin, because that'll likely blow up in everyone's faces. Also, if either of us decide that we can't actually do this, then he will be unbearable.
You say, and lean forward and rest your head on his shoulder. Karkat touches your arm gently and then simply rests his hand there, as if that minimal contact with you was all that he wanted.
You know who is going to be unbearable? Spades Slick. Especially if we have to tell him that this book was in any way helpful.
Karkat says after a while.
I'm not giving it back until we've rated all these stories in there.
You joke, but you're actually a little interested in seeing that project all of the way through. If nothing else, you intend on committing to the bit.
Oh, actually, you know who is going to be insufferable?
You whine as you realize it.
Are we just listing people now? Because if so, Solix. If only because Solix is always insufferable.
Karkat smiles, but it's in a way that's clearly utterly smitten, despite the actual words that he's saying.
Dave. It's Dave who's going to be insufferable. He told me that I was acting like this, and I disagreed incredibly strongly.
You tell him. Karkat seems to consider that for a moment or two, and then offers this.
On the plus side, you learned something. I prefer learning things when I haven't previously been very loudly and vehemently wrong about them.
You grumble. Karkat shrugs at that, which is fair, as there's nothing he can do about it, and certainly nothing that you can do about it. You'll just have to admit that Dave was right entirely, although you were still far more competent at this whole Karkat thing than he was. That bar was set very low indeed, but that's not your problem.
I hope, well, if things work out, that is.
Karkat isn't looking directly at you, and he's speaking so quietly that you're not entirely sure if he's talking to himself or to you.
You hope?
You prompt him, just in case.
If things work out, if you're comfortable with this, and I'm not too whatever to be able to deal with this.
Karkat stalls for time, but you keep watching, and he eventually gets to it.
I hope that I'm good. Good how? As a Moirail? A person? Or ethically?
You ask, a little jokingly.
That's a good question. I guess I meant as a Moirail. I like you and I care about you. Things are better after we talked about past Karkat and how I'm not the same. We changed things, and it's nice. I know I'm not how I was, and I don't know a lot. There's so much I don't know about you and Earth. All of it. Solix has this theory that I'm still missing some part of me that helps me understand people, beyond just not knowing what they mean when they talk about things.
Karkat's voice is low, like he doesn't fully want to admit this, or perhaps he's worried that someone else might hear. It feels private, like it's just for you.
Is the incident at the library still bothering you? How you threw the Fae out of the library?
You ask him.
Yeah, for some reason, the time that I killed several Fae and threw one who knows how far away seems like a concern. Not to mention that I get the impression that I'm a lot less filtered and restrained with things than past Karkat is. Personally, I think that past Karkat's problems could have been made a little easier if he was willing to fight more angels, but that's just me, I guess.
Karkat says pissily, as if you are personally stopping him from squaring up with angels and he's mad about it. Ah, yes, I'm just. Karkat strolling up to heaven, ready to fist fight the fucking heavenly. What the fuck is it called?
Triumvirate? Is that a right
Heavenly
word?
conglomerate.
Yeah.
Heavenly host. That's the fuck.
The host, yes, yes, yes.
Listen, I could totally see this Karkat just like, I will fist fight all of heaven to get back my dad's husband.
You assholes know what you did!
Where's my stepdad? Or just dad?
Yeah, cute.
I love them, Your Honor. You want to tell him that he's fine, that it doesn't matter. You trust him. You do, but you also don't. And you're very aware of the words that you uttered in that video.
I think that you're different. Sometimes in ways that are unpredictable to us, and sometimes even to you. You're still injured, if that's the word you want to use, but you are still Karkat. Even if you act differently, there's still a reason behind it. You've got a good heart. You are a good heart, actually.
You say with a smile. Carcat rolls his eyes like your words are dumb or perhaps cliche, but you see the slight smile on his face anyway.
Whatever. My point is that I'd like to be good. If this even happens, it might not, and that's fine. Really, it is. We're not the same species, and it's complicated, and you know what I mean. I don't know. I think I've spent so much of my life being bad that it'd be a nice change. I was a bad angel, a bad creation. I'm not even sure I'm that good of a friend.
Carcat glances at the door as if Aridin might walk in at any moment.
I think that being a bad angel is a pretty good thing, actually.
You point out.
Sure, it'd just be novel to be good at doing something the way it's supposed to be done. With Solix, it's a good thing, but we're not entirely conventional, and angels and demons aren't supposed to be doing this sort of thing. I. Weirdly, the two relationships that I stand a chance of being good at in a normal way are you and Dave. With Matuna and my family, that's a relationship that isn't meant to happen, but you and Dave would be pale and flush done pretty normally. That's a little bit funny.
Carcat says with a smile.
Oh?
You ask, reasonably sure that if he makes some kind of joke about twins and dating them, that you might have to smack him a little bit for it.
Yeah, there's this. There's a whole world, and it just happens that the people that get me romantically are right here and already connected. There's a symmetry to that, or something.
Carcat says instead, sweet and entirely oblivious of what you were assuming.
What are you proposing? That you should write my mother a thank you note? Dear the esteemed Roxy Lalonde, great work on your kids. I'm a big fan. Love your work. Something like that.
You scoff.
My grandmother did stress the importance of good manners and thank yous. I should send her a thank you note. I could consult Kanaya on the proper stationery. I'm sure there's also books on the etiquette of letter writing in the library, too. I'll do that. It seems only proper.
Carcat nods, already listing things out. I love him.
He's so great.
I feel like June is just gonna be like, good food, thanks.
Good food, good food.
Good food. June Egbert being just like Carcat is just her personal chef. That's what I'm saying here. Oh, I know how to read. You stare at him for a moment as he appears deep in thought.
You're fucking with me, aren't you?
You ask him slowly. Carcat looks up at you as if he's surprised by such a question, that you think he wouldn't write a polite thank you note. Then, all at once, his face splits into a sharp grin and his entire expression becomes utter mischief. You shove him over and don't feel even a little bit bad about
It was too funny not to.
it. Carcat giggles through his own defense.
No, in fairness, I would have done that too. Well played. Although it probably wouldn't go down terribly badly if she knew you a little bit better. After all, where do you think that Dave and I got our sense of humor from?
You say with utter confidence that if Carcat sent that letter, then it would be framed and affixed to the refrigerator forevermore.
Well, if this happens, maybe I will do that.
Carcat says softly. You look down at him. You're leaning on his bed, and he's slumped over on the floor from you shoving him earlier. Despite everything, all the joking, there is a fragile hope there in the air between you that this could become something. You don't know if you can make this work, but you would really like to find out.
Maybe.
You whisper and have to look away from Carcat's far too earnest and hopeful expression. It's just too much for you right now. So you have a sexuality crisis to contend with, as well as a new dorm mate that you absolutely don't want to deal with, but are nonetheless forced to contend with. You also have to deal with Matuna's sly little smile and perpetual amusement at your situation, which you absolutely refuse to acknowledge. You also refuse to rise to any of Eridan's bait as he tries to drag you into arguments with him, purely to make you look worse. He is doing it more now that you and Karkat have had your talk. Perhaps he fears that things have changed and the balance has shifted away from him in some way. You have just so many things to contend with. Irons in the fire, as it were. And speaking of,
So, you're not going?
you ask Karkat at the unspeakably, awfully, ungodly early hour that you have to be up for Mindfang's class.
To Mindfang's class?
Karkat asks, not looking up from his book.
Yes. I'm going down to pick food up on the way, and then it's class.
You remind him.
I would rather eat broken glass than whatever you're picking up and go to Mindfang's class.
Karkat says flatly. There's nothing that she can teach you that you would need to know or don't already know, Eridan tells Karkat.
I'm sure there's a lot that I want to know, but nothing I'm prepared to put up with her to learn. I'm gonna read that again. I'm sure there's a lot that I want to know, but nothing I'm prepared to put up with her to learn. In fact, I have a whole list of what she's going to teach, and I can't be at this class today without risking exposing myself.
Karkat says and pulls a few sheets of paper out of his chest and holds them up. It looks like a very detailed class syllabus, far more detailed than your own. Is that a lesson plan?
How did you get that?
You ask, and Karkat puts it away before you can get a better look.
I
Karkat tells you and lowers his book to properly look at you.
committed no crimes and stole nothing. I did nothing to Mindfang at all.
You give him a flat look and consider how you are in possession of the test and the syllabus from your xenobiot. Fuck!
You're doing
I
so great.
word! Xenobiology. Okay, let me try that again. Whew, why is that word hard? You give him a flat look and consider how you are in possession of the test and the syllabus for your xenobiology class.
Did Solix do any of those things?
You ask him sweetly.
I couldn't possibly say, but I do find him fantastically easy to bribe for such things. Not that I admit to this, or any wrongdoing.
Karkat says sweetly. You think that you're going to not ask for any details or confirmation on that. Thanks.
If it makes you feel any better, I'm going to go at the same time as you. I'm heading to the library to study the things that you're going to be learning. Or at least I'm going to get Kanaya's much better book recommendation list based off of this.
Karkat tells you, like he's trying to show you that he's being responsible. Like he is doing it for you and telling you because you care. Because
That sounds great. That's great. I should go, or I'm not going to get anything to eat.
you say quickly.
I don't have all my things. You go. I'll see you later.
Karkat tells you as he scrambles off of the sofa and hurries to his room. And turning to look at Karkat retreating to get his things, you see Matuna. Matuna is floating in the corner of the room and actually eating popcorn as he watches you with a grin. You are absolutely not engaging in that, and instead, you're going to leave this instant. You're going to be entirely honest. Absolutely none of Mindfang's lesson sticks in your head. Your thoughts are a spiral of Karkat, your feelings about him, what this means for you and your identity, and then the memories of you both admitting how you felt. At least you can find out what you should know from Karkat later. You're just thinking about Karkat again. Maybe you could ask Dave for his notes. He seemed to be paying some attention during class. Although Part of that was probably because he wasn't having to deal with Sullix being touchy about Mindfang's class like he normally is. For reasons that you refuse to speculate on, Sullix has been in an incredibly chipper mood all morning. The mood is significantly less upbeat when you open your dorm door again. It sounds like Karkat and Aridin are arguing. The sound reaches you the moment that you've opened the door, and it instantly grabs everyone's attention.
Times do I have to say it?
Karkat snaps. Karkat looks over as you swing the door open, and you catch sight of a very, well, you're not sure what's happening here, but Aridin's wings are out, and it looks intense. You also can't see Matuna anywhere nearby, which is absolutely not normal at all. Whoa, where's Matuna? Solix asks before you can get a word out.
He's at the library. I told him that you'd be back any minute now, and now you are, so we're fine. We're back up at Demon Quota, or whatever.
Karkat says, clearly annoyed, but he sounds like there's something else going on there. For the sake of not outing anyone's species, you and the others step inside, and Jean shuts the door behind her as the last one in. I thought Aridin was always supposed to be supervised by you or Matuna, Dave asks.
That's what... Sorry. He is, but it wasn't long, and he needed to get there fast, and it's a whole thing. I've been here with Aridin the whole time that Matuna was gone. He's fine.
Karkat says, clearly biting off a sharp retort before it could fully get out.
Are you fine?
You ask, and Karkat winces a little.
I'm fine. My wings are...
Karkat starts. Karkat! Aridin gasps.
There was an incident at the library. I'm fine. Matuna is checking it out, which is why he's not here. I'm reiterating again for everyone how entirely fine I am.
Karkat says, dropping the topic of his wings entirely. You being fine is a known fact, Dave says, and shares a brief high five with Sullix, though both seem distracted by how actually fine Karkat may or may not be.
It wasn't a big deal. I went to the library to research the same things that you were learning in class. Kanaya was picking out books for me. I read a few, and then the next one she wanted to show me was down with the dangerous books. It was one of the ones that isn't dangerous, but it was damaged in the event. When we were down there, I worked out that I can sort of willingly shift back into the same alliance as before, although it's not as strong, with June still having that whistle. We were curious to see how the books would react, so Kanaya asked Miss Paint if I could go in with her. With Miss Paint, that is, into the book cage where the dangerous books are kept.
Karkat explains. That seems dangerous, Sullix points out.
The clue does seem to be in the name.
You agree.
That's the thing, it wasn't. I went in there and they were all so quiet, like I was really one of them. Miss Paint was so on guard the whole time, and then it became really obvious that me being like that really worked. We were in there for like 10 minutes or something, and it was all fine.
Karkat insists. And then one of them attacked you, Aridin hisses.
I'm fine. Yet again, I'm fine. It didn't get anywhere near me.
Karkat says in exasperation. You got hurt and you won't even let me see, Aridin protests.
What actually happened when the book tried to attack you, Karkat?
You ask, interrupting that particular point of contention. You suspect that that was what you walked in on earlier.
Ms. Paint caught the book. It didn't even get to me. Unfortunately, there was a complication. Miss Paint's magic was supposed to capture a very magical and possibly possessed book within a cage meant to contain and restrain any books trying to escape. A cage that kind of hurts if you try to escape it. If you are a magic and possessed book, that is.
Karkat says carefully.
Or if you happen to be an angel of the library with book wings, technically a sort of sentient book.
You guess.
Yeah, it turns out that's close enough that if your boss elbows you into it to get you away from a book that she's catching, then yeah, it hurts a little. She showed me entirely how the magic of the cage worked on the way in, as well as how the lock works. It's got to be broad to make sure it catches all of the kinds of books. It happened to get me.
Karkat says with a nod. And the book that tried to attack you? What caused that? Celix asks worriedly.
It looked demonic to me. Once I picked myself out of the cage bars, I got a little bit of a look at it, but all I could see was that it was possessed as shit. Miss Paint wasn't willing to let me look at it and got me out of there. I called Matuna right away and ran home so he could teleport there and check it out. Well, not check it out. You'd have to be an advanced library patron to check it out. I have the cards for those in my desk, but they're very rare. Most people don't meet the required level.
Karkat explains.
So the book didn't get you, the cage hurt you a bit. Oh, dang it.
Wrong girl.
Wrong girl. My girls.
The girls.
So the book didn't get you, the cage hurt you a bit, and Matuna is looking at what that evil book is. Everything is good? You're just a little bruised or something?
Jade asks.
Yeah, that's basically it. No reason to worry. Miss Paint took all of the sensible precautions and didn't let her guard down, even though the book was clearly waiting for her to do that. I'm not going back in there again, and there's a million other books at the library to read that aren't going to try mauling me. Even if I want to read some of the ones that are in there later, then Kanaya or Miss Paint could just take them from the cage into the reading area for me. It's not a big deal.
Karkat agrees.
I don't like the idea that a book like that is just sitting in the library.
June says, clearly uneasy.
Can you think of a better place for a living book to reside besides under the care of Ms. Paint, who is incredibly powerful and knowledgeable in a building built to literally contain books like that? It's alive. It's got to be somewhere. That's the best place for it.
Karkat counters. What if it did something to you, though? Let me get a look at you. Selig says, stepping forward and waving a hand at Karkat to encourage him to change his form.
Dang it. Not unless you at least buy me a drink first.
Karkat snorts. You're so funny, Selig says sarcastically.
I know.
Karkat replies with cheer, only making Selig look more annoyed.
But what if you go and touch the book?
Wrong girl.
That's June.
It sounded like Rose.
Rose is more like this.
Okay, my bad. It vaguely sounded like Rose to me. June asks.
What if I purposefully go down to the restricted section of the library that I'm not supposed to be in, magically unlock the lock as I don't have the keys, get in the cage, and then touch the demonic book? The one that's obviously possessed and might maim, kill, curse, or even possess me? Why would I possibly do that? I like being alive and unmaimed.
Karkat argues. What's with the but not possessed, huh? Huh, buddy? We fucking see you, you many-eyed weirdo. When did you...
I wrote that. That's why it's in purple.
I love that so much.
It's like, because he lists, he's like, it might maim, kill, curse, or even possess me. He likes being, like, alive and unmaimed. He doesn't mention not being possessed and then, like, not being cursed.
Yeah.
He got the little cankry inside him.
Yeah, because cannibalism.
Cannibalism.
We all love a little bit of cannibalism.
Oh yes. I love these things where like he kind of tells people like in a way where like he just because he doesn't super love to lie flat out, and so just he'll omit things. And this is a point where like Rose could look back at this and be like, "Fuck, damn it,
You little shit.
you shit."
Yeah. I love him so many. That's my fucking son, Your Honor.
That's my fun. Oh, no.
Squirrel heaven, now.
Squirrel heaven. We have to make that at some point. I keep thinking about
We
it.
do. We keep meaning to, and we haven't gotten to it yet. Do I need to do a bad comic? Because I will.
I mean, like you are so welcome to do a bad comic. I also like I have the dialogue written out and it wouldn't be too hard to do. We could do it. I would want to do it I would want to have it like recorded as a separate audio file so that I'm more likely to edit it.
Yeah. When I go, I need to take a picture of what the fuck my lizard is doing right now to show to you, because what the fuck?
Lizard.
Madam, are you good? She looks like she's doing some weird acrobatics and she's just vibing there. Like, madam.
She's just a skilled gymnast. Okay.
Okay, we're coming back to
Come back
55?
55.
55.
15-minute break, everyone. Hug your dogs. Get a cat. Go adopt one in the next 15 minutes. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, go drink water. Take your meds. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Take pictures of your lizards.
Lizards.
Lizards. All right, talk to you in a bit, hun.
Talk to you in a bit.
See you soon. Goodbye forever.
There's the music.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry, done goofed for a second.
No worries. 'Tis life.
Got distracted by cat game.
Ah, yes, cat game.
Cat game. Listen, it's really cute.
It sounds delightful.
Listen, I love it very many. I haven't even read Warrior Cats yet, like read part of the first book, and there's hundreds of books. And I'm just like, do cats.
Cats. They finally found the medium where they can reach you.
They did.
I have pictured here the lizard with its good acrobatic posing. If anyone's curious,
How it looked.
Oh, you shared the picture of the lizard?
Yes, Limzard is currently on
Her-
screen.
Her name is Roxy. Because she keeps making eggs from nothing. She's never been with a male, and she keeps laying eggs anyway.
She's incredible.
She's doing her best, and we love her. She also has a habit of being in weird positions all the fucking time, and she'll be like that for hours. Like, madam, you good? Are you okay?
What a cutie.
She is a cutie, and I love her. Doop, doop,
Alrighty.
doop.
I think I'll take narrator since last chapter was so Carcat Rose heavy.
Yeah. I also see a lot of green, at least in the first bit.
Right.
So it comes in
Green.
turns.
It do.
There's a puff of displaced air, and a stressed out looking Matuna reappears.
Okay, good news and bad news.
Matuna says. Of course, it's two things. I like good news, Carcat says.
Me too. Good news is that the book is completely restrained. Kanaya was able to make a holy water type seal around it. Basically, a box in a box that has holy water in it. The book stays as it is, but it can't escape at all now. Bonus points that it that I know how to read. Bonus points with that is that you'll still be able to tell where it is, and Kanaya can as well now. It also seemed basically inert with me around it. It's still obviously cursed and possessed as shit, but it isn't interested in going for anyone else, and apparently it never has been.
Matuna explains.
So it's an angel trap?
Dave guesses.
It looks like it, yeah. It probably would go for a few other selected people, but nothing we need to worry about now.
Matuna says quickly. Carcat makes a face like he's trying to remember if he left the stove on several dimensions away. Carcat? You ask him worriedly.
I can feel it. It's faint, but I can feel the box that the book is in. I can tell it's there. That's so odd.
Carcat answers you. What's the bad news? June asks. Matuna hesitates and then sighs. There's
Oh, sorry. I know who made the book.
There's a pause, and then, as one, June and Solix both go, "No!"
No!
Very loudly and miserably.
What? Oh, him.
Carcat grimaces.
There's a satanically possessed book in the library? We have to...
Hold up. You first part of that sentence got swallowed.
Oh, my bad. There's a satanically possessed book in the library? We have to...
Aridin starts.
Do not threaten to destroy that book. It's alive. It's not its fault that it was made by him. That doesn't make something automatically bad or worth destroying.
Karkat snaps at him. Aridin opens his mouth, and you see his eyes flick in the direction of Solix, then across past Dave and you. You see him rapidly reevaluate how well that argument might go down, and how none of you will defend him in it. The three of you are involved with Karkat, and Aridin is not. It would not go well, and he knows it.
I'm just worried for you.
Aridin tells him softly.
I didn't ask you to be. I've been fine in the library this whole time. We know what the book is now. It's secure, and I'm not going to read it. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Karkat pauses for a moment, and then a flicker of
Fuck it.
crosses his face.
I don't want to fucking be here.
And with that, he simply leaves to go to his room and slams the door shut after him.
Great play, dipshit. You scored negative points. The crowd vomits themselves to death at the sight. Just shut up, yeah?
Mituna snaps at Aridin, who simply scowls at all of you, but is clearly angry at himself, too. Oh, great. Everyone hates Aridin. Even Aridin.
The book is safe as it can be. Honestly, I think destroying it risks breaking it into bits that we can't contain. Ms. Paint isn't going to let Karkat near it again, and he obviously doesn't want to go either. This could have been way worse, but we're good.
Mituna says to the rest of you, his tone a lot better.
I don't think that Karkat's going to touch the book on purpose. He doesn't want to get possessed. I know he is curious, but he doesn't have a death wish.
Dave points out.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just a little bit worried that it might have something to him that we... Oh, I can't read!
My eyes just skip over things. I'm sorry, the ADHD be ADHDing.
It's all good.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just a little bit worried that it might have done something to him that we couldn't see. But I didn't sense anything. I'll have to look later.
Solix says quietly.
Yeah, I didn't sense any trace of him on Karkat, and Ms. Paint was very clear on what she did. Karkat wasn't touched at all, but I'm sure you'll check that later too, huh?
Mituna says lightly. Only if he buys Karkat a drink first, apparently. June says teasingly.
Smart.
Mituna laughs.
We could invite him up for a movie later or something. Give him some space to cool down. Yeah.
Dave says that last part quickly. Clearly he meant some space from Aridin, but amended it at the last moment. Your friends all filter out. Since Karkat has left to go to his room, there's not much else to say. Mituna is pretty firm that the danger has passed and wasn't even fully realized, so there's not a lot else to do, and the atmosphere in your dorm is quite oppressive. You leave Aridin alone in the main room with Mituna, although Mituna does make several calls to get people to do more research into what the book is and if there's anything that he missed. You're a lot more confident about this whole situation now that you've heard all of this. You study a little with your door open, and you can't help but notice that Karkat remains in his room with the door firmly shut. Eventually, you get thirsty and decide to go make yourself some coffee. You make Karkat some as well. As you're waiting for it to filter through the coffee filter, you write Karkat a note. It's Rose. I have coffee for you. You take Karkat's full cup and yours, as well as the note. You drop the note to the ground by Karkat's door and kick it underneath it. Then you kick the door gently a couple of times. You crouch down to place the coffee mug by the door, and you're surprised when it opens. You look up, your hand on Karkat's mug on the floor, and seeing him looking down at you as he peeks around the door.
You were just going to leave it there?
He asks quietly. Oh, well, that's why I wrote the note. Well, I was studying myself, and... Well, I was studying myself.
Oh, you were studying yourself, were you? Oh.
Yes, the book really inspired me, Karkat.
Oh,
Oh, God.
full?
Okay. Well, that's why I wrote the note. I was studying and made myself a coffee, so I thought that you might want one. You explain, feeling a little silly doing so, especially as you can feel Aridin watching you from across the dorm. Oh, if you want Mindfang's syllabus, it's on my desk, Karkat says out of nowhere, and then steps back and opens the door properly. Oh, well, okay. You pick up Karkat's mug again and step into his room, then he closes the door right behind you. There is a considerable number of small feathers on his floor, and, notably, nothing on his desk at all. Here you go, Karkat says, pulling the syllabus from his chest and handing it to you and taking the coffee off of you in one smooth motion. Thank you, you say, instead of pointing out that it wasn't on his desk. Karkat walks to his very empty desk with his coffee, and you can't help but notice that his shoulders are tense, and it's almost as if he's holding his arm a little awkwardly. Karkat puts the coffee down, then rolls his left shoulder with a little wince that's blink and you'll miss it kind of speed. I'm going to take a moment to speculate that you may have damaged your wings or feathers in the library, you say, and nudge a small feather on the ground with your toe. Yeah, the cage messed with my wings a little. Again, I'm fine. I'm not hurt. It takes more than that to hurt me. It's just very uncomfortable, and I can't quite... Ugh. Karkat hisses in frustration. Should you take narrator for a bit? I don't know how long you're going to be here.
You want to offer to help. You itch to do so, actually. It's obvious that Karkat is uncomfortable and sore, and he could show you how to fix that for him. It is pretty obvious that Aridin was pushing that point earlier, and you've had it explained to you just how much you're not supposed to be touching his wings. It feels unfair to ask for everything that you would like to do without being willing to meet Karkat halfway. But still, he's obviously not okay.
Is the whole wing thing a quadrant thing in general? It's not just a pale thing?
You ask him.
Yeah.
Did you forget that I was
forgot.
narrator?
I forgot, Your Honor.
It happens all the fucking time.
Yeah. Solix will probably help me if I agree to let him look at me and to make sure I'm not very secretly demonically possessed.
Karkat says, and leans against his desk. He doesn't look at you, but instead runs his fingers over the coffee mug.
I thought you were going to let him do that if he bought you a drink.
You ask him with a smirk, very much approving of Karkat turning that line on Solix.
True, but you bring me drinks without having to look at my real form.
Karkat replies immediately.
Well, that'll teach me not to ask for anything first, I suppose.
You sigh in mock disappointment.
I could always use more coffee, so... I mean, I guess that I could still trade coffee for letting Solix look at my form. Hello?
Oh no, they died forever.
Oh no! Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, you went violent on me.
Oh no! Where did I disappear? Satan?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you know where I cut off for you?
You cut off at I could always use more coffee.
Oh, sweet. I could always use more coffee, so... I mean, I guess that I could still trade coffee for letting Solix look at my form.
Karkat says slowly.
I could ask, but then how would you get your wings fixed? But that would imply that I was trying to bribe you with coffee to get you to do something that you wouldn't be willing to do without it. Especially given that I've not even figured out what I want with our whole situation. That seems like an unfair thing to do.
You reason. It's not that you don't want to, but
I know. You wouldn't do that.
Karkat nods. He still wants you to do it anyway, though. You think that he knows that you can tell that. You think that perhaps choosing not to do this is the meaningful choice here. Choosing the right thing over the thing that you want for his own benefit and yours too. That's pretty pale as well. Perhaps in a meta way. You're not sure.
Then, thank you for the class list with these topics and notes.
You say wildly uneloquently.
Thanks for the coffee.
Karkat says with a soft and warm smile on his face. You don't tell him to go see Sullix and Dave. He already knows that, and if he's chosen not to, then he has his reasons. You leave Karkat's room and close the door behind you. You still have Karkat's acquired syllabus in hand, and Aridin very obviously notes it as you exit Karkat's room.
Matuna, is there anything we can find out about where that book came from?
You ask him as the thought occurred.
Ken's looking it up, but it's been around for a long time from what she said. Tied up with some prophecy about drowning, although I'm starting to think that maybe it might meant that because of it attacking someone, it drowns instead of someone drowning. Prophecies are weird.
Matuna explains.
I was a seer. You don't need to.
You trail off as Matuna looks past you to Karkat's room, his gaze unfocused and concerned for a moment before it then relaxes. Ah, the alarm words. You thought that they didn't trigger right away, so that's interesting.
Did it take Karkat a little longer to get up through Solix's window?
You guess.
Probably pulling stupid faces at each other through the glass before he went in or something.
Matuna says with a roll of his eyes. Either that or his wings are uncomfortable and sore and flying wasn't as easy for him. It's not your business yet, but you feel happier knowing that Karkat is going to feel better soon, even if you didn't cause that. You retreat to your room feeling pretty keen on avoiding interaction with Aridin after that. It's hard to be sure if you've actually done the right thing here. Karkat clearly wanted help with his wings, but as you've established, there are
And feel free to
Wow,
trade off
we're so
anytime. It looks
professional.
like we're going to be narrative heavy for a while.
Okay. Let me just get a drinky drink real quick. I love Matuna dearly, but his voice hurts my throat.
Yeah. That's why I have throat coat tea for Karkat. Karkat is a peach, but also, ow.
Karkat, sleep beat me out.
Beep beep meow.
I was too lazy to make myself tea today, but luckily my throat isn't hurting. The ear, nose, and throat doctor I went to is an absolute peach and prescribed me Zyrtec so that I only have to pay $1 for it instead of like 30.
Nice.
We love it, Your Honor.
We love it. We love to see it.
Yeah, if you can't afford fucking allergy meds, ask a doctor to prescribe them to you.
Life hack.
Life hack. Legit, because I'm on Medicaid because your boy broke. I pay $1 for them, and that's it.
Nice.
Okay, where the fuck were we?
This paragraph. You retreat to your room.
Okay, yeah. I was tripped over the
Yes.
You retreat to your room feeling pretty keen on avoiding interaction with Aridin after that. It's hard to be sure if you've actually done the right thing here. Karkat clearly wanted help with his wings, but as you've established, there are already people that can help with that. Just because you like the idea of something doesn't mean you should do it. Not when you know it's romantic, that it's very specifically romantic to this quadrant that you're not yet in, that you may never be in. It's not a sure thing. You shouldn't get in over your head here. You don't know what you're doing, and you're still not sure if you can do this. It would be awful to agree to be Karkat's Moirail and then have to break up with him because he is a man, and even in this very non-sexual relationship, that turns out to be a deal breaker. You don't want to do that to him, even if he'd understand. Besides, he seems to have his own reservations too. You're both being smart by taking a little time here. You still wish you could have. You're very glad that your room is silenced and that you have so many throw pillows to scream into. It suits your situation very well. Ugh. You need to be sure of yourself and honest about things before this goes anywhere. Guilt builds up. Bills? Yep, bills.
Quack.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Bill.
I was doing. Bill. I was doing so good, Your Honor.
You're doing great.
Guilt. Give me one more chance, and if I fuck up again, I might ask you to switch in.
Yeah, all good. You did so much narrating last time. It's it's just because it's a Cat Rose heavy time.
Yeah. It's just you talking back and forth to yourself. So literally, if you had narrated the last one, it would literally just be you the whole time.
Yeah. Defeats the
It's
purpose of
just
having a
Jay.
team.
Yeah. It's Jay the whole way down.
Oops, all Jay.
Oops, all Jay. Guilt builds up in you at the mention of honesty in your mind. Because there's another hitch in this little plan. You haven't been completely honest with him, have you? The belt of holding sits accusingly on your desk. You haven't told Carcat that you got into it. You haven't told him what you found, or the message that refers to him by name and plainly says that he can't be trusted right now, as well as saying that he is already your Moirail. Or he was, or will be. You're not sure. You don't know what to believe. Hiding things from your Moirail is clearly pretty terrible content. Openness and honesty were very stressed in those stories, and deviation from that was so often the driver of the problems the couples faced. Again, you were taking life lessons from pornography, but you did have an interpreter there to confirm or deny things. It's hardly a reach, though. Honesty is important in any relationship. Can we just say, like, the pornography thing just makes me think of Good Omens?
Sure, I haven't read or watched Good Omens, so I don't know what specifically you're referencing.
Okay, there is a scene where there are a bunch of angels show up at Aziraphale, who is also an angel's bookshop. Basically, Aziraphale is on Earth pretending to be human. He runs a bookshop. He rarely sells his books because he collects them, so he purposely has like really weird times where the shop is open. But anyway, one of the angels walks in and says, "I'm here to buy," and one of the other angels suggests pornography. So he really loudly says pornography while holding this really thick book that very obviously is not porn.
I mean, it could just be the most long-winded porn imaginable.
I forget what book it is, but it's an older book.
Right.
Like it's an actual book that is not porn. So it's like, I mean, sure, anything could be porn if you're a little weird about it.
Yeah, just get a little funky with it.
A little funky with it, yeah. I don't know. Maybe it gets really into detail about ankles, and that's what he's into. I don't fucking know.
Scandalous.
Scandalous. You are not being honest. Hasn't Carcat had enough people trying to control his life? Enough people manipulating him, ordering him, not letting him learn things? Can you set yourself up to be another person like that in that very long line? The problem is that you don't know enough. You don't know enough about how you feel for him or what it means, not beyond what you like or would want. You don't know enough about this belt, the video, or anything else held in there. If you knew more, then you can make an informed decision. You could work out if you told yourself not to trust Carcat because he can't be trusted or because you needed to buy time. If Carcat shouldn't find out about the belt too early, then it would make sense to tell yourself something that would make you hesitate long enough to create that gap. But what you need to do is clear then. You need to find out everything that you can. And when you have all of the information that you can get a hold of, well, then you will need to make a decision. You won't be Carcat's Moira without telling him about that video. You won't start this relationship with lies. To work, then. You lay the belt flat on your desk and take out the objects that you have already discovered. The feather and blood, the flash drive, and the planchette. So, what do you work on next? You try strength, but you don't get anything from that. Perhaps you aren't thinking the right thing or thinking of the right person. The Two of Swords is supposedly Celix's card, but again, you get nothing. You consider the Fool. This card looks to be about beginnings, a journey, and a sense of free spiritedness. That's the upright meaning, at least. Reversed, it's holding back and being reckless. It's essentially a lack of its first meaning. If you made this, and you have every reason to believe that you did, given that it has your blood in the stitches and what appears to be a clumsy sewing accident, then you should think about your process. Your journey, as it were. The main pouches were the intended use. This is a backup for deviation in the plan. It makes more sense that the cards apply better to the original meaning. Hopefully they work both ways, but you would put more effort into making sure that your main plan worked instead of aiming for perfection in your backup plan. So who or what is the Fool representing originally? You may not be able to get into its original prize. You're not in the right timeline for that. But you could reverse engineer the idea. It could be your new life journey at Salem, but the others so far have been people. The most free-spirited person that you know is June, and now that you think of it, she is very reckless at times. And she held back information about her divinity. So perhaps it's June, but June as you know her now, not how you thought about her before everything went wrong with Carcat. What can you hold in your mind to differentiate her? Free-spirited, lacking a free spirit, held back from a journey. Your mind alights on the whistle around June's neck, the failsafe that no one wants to think about, the ability that she has to order Carcat to do anything as if she had made him. She didn't have that before, and that is the opposite of the Fool's regular meaning. Putting your hand inside the bottom of the pouch with the Fool on it, you find thing. There's something in there, but you're not sure what it is. It's reasonably small and slim. Feeding? God damn it. It's reasonably small and slim, fitting neatly in your hand. When you pull your hand free, you're a little confused about what you have here. Sitting in your open hand is a length of fucking hell. Do you mind swapping it?
Yeah, all good.
No, are you not there?
I'm there. Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello?
No. Hang on. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now. When was the last time you heard me?
I've heard you the whole time. It's just that you couldn't hear me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you were right at sitting in your hand is Silvo.
Silvo.
So glad you can hear me, and it looks like I still have audio on my end. So yes, I can absolutely switch out.
Thank you. Brain go burr.
Okay. Oh, let me. I put it on pause for a moment there. Let me get it off of pause so people can read the words. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Sitting in your open hand is a length of silver-colored metal. It's ornate and covered with the kind of curling and winding lines that you're familiar with from June's god form. It takes a moment to realize that it appears to be a handle, not for a drawer or a chest, but more for a weapon. It's too small for a sword, so perhaps a knife? What possible use is the handle of a knife? You look over it and confirm that this is June's symbol all over it, and it does seem to be a knife. You suppose that it could be something else, but you think that June having a very ornate and large cutlery set is a little weird, even for her. Oddly enough, you can't see that there's a break in the metal at all. It's very plainly a handle for a knife or something, but there's no indication that a blade has snapped off. Would it have killed you to label things more? Seriously?
Goddamn, past Rose. Why didn't you have a label maker?
Come on, Rose. Get it together.
Yeah.
You slump forward on the desk and jump when something heavy hits the floor near your foot, narrowly missing smashing your toes. To your surprise, it's the planchette that's dropped to the floor. You hadn't thought it was that close to the edge of your desk. Well, now, you did want some answers. It would be very helpful if this could be a means to directly communicate with this other version of you. Perhaps this can reach through timelines instead of to the dead. You find the Ouija board and sincerely hope that your blocks towards all things psychic does not continue. It's hard not to feel silly when you sit on the floor with this stupid kid's toy and your custom weird metal accessory for it. You're supposed to be a powerful seer, and this is, quite honestly, a little demeaning. The fact is that you're desperate, you want answers, and you are willing to do this to get them. You always want answers, but right now, you have other motivations as well. This stupid belt and that stupid video are making you keep secrets from Karkat. Secrets that form a wedge between you two. For that reason, you are willing to lower yourself to touching this weird metal planchette and asking a cardboard Hasbro product if there is anyone there with a message for you. Several seconds pass, and you think that perhaps you are every bit as blocked as you were before, but then it moves. The metal planchette moves, without you moving at all.
Where did you...
What? That was distinctly a 9 in there.
get a replacement?
Well, what do you say to that? A yes would have sufficed. Do you mean the planchette for the board? I lost my last one somewhere, you say aloud.
Where did you get this? It is sacred.
There's that 9 again. You've seen that. Karkat types like that now. What does this person mean by sacred? The planchette is clearly magical in some way, but there's nothing engraved on it that stands out to you. Who are you? Why do you talk like Karkat? You ask suspiciously. You probably shouldn't have dropped his name, but you have to know.
We don't have time.
Why not? And you're the one talking. And you're the one... I guess it's like, and you were one to talk? Just phrased it.
Yeah.
Okay. Why not? And you're the one talking when you have to write letter by letter. Answer me. The planchette is still moving, and you're more focused on what it's saying. Now, the planchette is still moving, and you're more focused on what it's saying now than you are in arguing with this person.
You need to get me out of Karkat.
What do you mean by that? You whisper, even as your mind screams that warning at you again. Don't let Karkat dabble in cannibalism. You don't like the implications of a ghost being inside Karkat at all.
He is distracted now, but not forever. I may not have much time.
Who's distracted? Karkat? You ask fearfully.
Yes, he ate me.
How? When? Who are you? You demand.
Make him
You stare at the board, your heart in your throat, but the planchette doesn't move at all. It remains mid-word on the letter T. You nudge it, but there is no power moving it but your own. Are you there? You ask, though truthfully, you already know the answer. Whoever you were talking to is gone. I take a little sip.
Little sip sip. And your bevy.
Little baby. You need to calm down and think. For a start, you don't know who you were talking to or what their motives may have been. Much like the internet, people can, in fact, go onto a board like this and just tell lies. Wild, but true. You'd be more at ease with discarding this conversation if it wasn't for the fact that you specifically included this apparently sacred planchette in the belt, and you specifically warned about cannibalism. You don't know who you were speaking to or their motives, but there is no way that you can discount their statements entirely. Cannibalism suggests another angel, but a horrified part of you wonders if you might be dealing with another Karkat. What if the Karkat that you knew before is stuck inside a layer of this one? Not intentional consumption, but a sort of auto-cannibalism. That could be the case, but the nines peppered into the text makes you doubt that. Or it could be him, but any communication he has is filtered through Karkat's current typing peculiarity. You can't just go out there and accuse Karkat of this. He's been really hurt by the idea that he's not the real Karkat, or that you only want the one that he was before. If you accuse him of eating his past self, you'll break his heart. Quite honestly, you don't believe this. Or rather, you don't believe that Karkat has done anything wrong. He can be impulsive and not realize the weight of his actions, but you do not believe that Karkat has had any time to slip away from everyone unnoticed to murder and eat someone. Not to mention the very obvious fact that Karkat can barely stand to eat at all. He has to be persuaded into eating, and even then he'll only try Jade's fruits and vegetables. She's somehow convinced him that the ones that she gives him are okay to eat, and he's carefully expanding his palate at his own pace. You don't see him darting off to pull a quick Hannibal Lecter without getting caught. Whatever Karkat has done has to be unintentional. You're sure of it. The question remains then, what do you do now? And how do you deal with this supposed cannibalism situation? Rough times for Rose.
Did you say nap time for Rose?
Rough times.
Oh, rough time. I thought you said nap time for Rose. Like, yep, nap time.
She's done enough, Your Honor. Let her sleep.
Let her take a little nap. She deserves it.
Then I probably could have split this one. I think like 13.1 is very long, and so I put some 13.0 here to break it up for us, but it does feel a little silly to be so close to the end and be like, here's just a little peek.
Just a little peek.
A teeny peek. But we're doing it, whatever. Chapter 13.
Do you want me to... Oh, I was going to say, do you want me to read or you got this?
I think I'm good either way. It's just King
Okay,
and
it's not...
Karkat, so...
Yeah. Doop, doop, doop. Do you want me to read because it's not very long?
Yeah.
And you're just reading a lot.
Yeah. I've talked so much Karkat, my voice is a little tired.
Yeah, I feel. Sullix is trying very hard to talk to you, but you can't listen to him right now. Something just happened. You felt it. You feel like everything is tense so hard you could sprain everything. It's a reflex, and you have no idea what caused it at all. You look inwards and try to ignore your racing heart and your question ring that's screaming out anxious, fearful questions, wanting to know what's wrong. Are you dying? What if you're dying? You trace the path to Cancri at your core and find that you've somehow locked him completely in. You can't see him at all. Pressing your hands to them, you ease the rings back and apart so you can see into the caged-in area that Cancre's soul resides in. Oh, that was not pleasant. Cancre gasps, darting to the bars and looking out, although not the ones right by you.
What happened?
You ask him in confusion. There was nothing there, Cancre says, almost a little breathless, despite not needing to breathe. You consider that for a moment.
Didn't you do that to me all of the time?
Not all of the time. Don't be hyperbolic. I'm sure it was nothing like what you just don't do that. Cancri says sharply, still on edge.
Sure, different. Whatever you say. I don't even know what happened. Everything was fine, and then it's as if I locked up.
You comment. The question ring is wondering what might have caused this, and you're indulging the thought because you have no clue at all. Well, needless to say, you were distracted. Cancri says, waving a hand to the image and is locked in area that shows your vision. You're looking inwards right now, so you're not seeing what it's showing, or not consciously at least. The view on display is a very stressed out looking Celix trying to get your attention through a shield that is keeping you contained in a small, curled up ball. You imagine that Cankri's issue with this is how Celix is entirely naked right now. Yeah, whatever. So, yeah, whatever set this off isn't Celix, no matter how much Cankri clearly wishes that you weren't involved with Celix at all. Well, you have no answers in here, and Cankri's not stuck in an endless void, but he is still here. You need to deal with this situation.
And deal with it he shall. Next time.
Probably in a not very healthy way.
No, we would not expect that of him.
He doesn't know how to be healthy.
No.
What do you...
What do you mean?
Oh, I just want to be cozy, Your Honor.
I want to get so comfy.
I want to be so comfy cozy. Like a little guy.
Your Honor!
Your Honor, I'm just a little guy.
Sweet. Very funny also, though, that, like, Cankry has, like, a widescreen TV of shit that happens to Karkat, and just, like, how surrounded he is by, like, I don't want to look at demon angel porn! Make it stop!
Oh my god, yeah. Like, pornography.
I wonder if, like, he also read the porn book with Rose and Karkat, if he was, like, reading over their shoulder and, like, making snide comments about their rating system.
Oh my god, please. That would have been so funny. Either making snide comments or being like, this is entirely inappropriate.
I can't even handle the words being shoved in my face right now. Make it stop.
Either that or okay, but him just complaining about the whole like Karkat and Rose being like, I don't like how that person is just completely controlling, and him just being like, it's fine. I don't know what you mean. Cronus was like that, and we had a perfectly healthy Moirilla Legion.
So
What
healthy.
are you talking? So healthy.
Karkat comes by his health levels, honestly.
Listen, the Vantuses just did not get a good hand, okay? They really didn't.
Yep.
They're doing their best,
Question mark.
Your Honor.
Question mark. Question mark.
Question mark, exclamation point.
Wonderful.
Like, please, Your Honor, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying. I'm trying so hard.
Wonderful. Alrighty. Well, everyone take care. We'll be back hopefully next weekend. I don't know my plans for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Take care.
Goodbye forever.